the Spirit of Community Award winner. This is Fox 14 News at 9.
Tomorrow's race will be a tight one between Edwards and Rispone, who has what it takes to take the governor's mansion. And Louisiana reports historic early voter turnout ahead of a contentious governor's race. We break down the numbers. Plus, the mayor of Vidalia is disputing a report put out by the Legislative Auditor's Office. We'll explain why. Thank you for choosing Fox 14. I'm Sarah Scarlett. First on Fox, it's been a fight to the finish over these last 5 weeks since the Louisiana primary elections. But it all comes down to this moment. The November runoffs are here, and our Chelsea Jones breaks down what it's going to take to win that governor's mansion. Chelsea?
Sarah, Governor John Bel Edwards and his opponent Eddie Rispone have been working tirelessly to secure the vote. From advertisements, state tours, president visits, you name it. But as one LSU professor tells me, every vote is going to count and make a difference. The Louisiana's governor race has been hot from the start, and right now there's only a 0.5 percentage point difference between the governor John Bel Edwards and businessman Eddie Rispone. Both candidates are doing what they can to secure those last-minute votes.
African Americans tend to vote overwhelmingly for Democrats, 95% so.
According to Bob Mann, Edwards is relying on the black vote and early voters to help him come out on top. Rispone, on the other hand, has been attempting to nationalize this race from the start.
He's not talked about state issues as much as he's talked about his support for Donald Trump and Donald Trump's support for him.
Both Edwards and Rispone have been trying to win over those undecided Ralph Abraham supporters. Edwards looking to get those voters who didn't like the way Rispone attacked Abraham in the primaries.
If they can combine the 95% support from African Americans with maybe peeling off 10% of those former Abraham voters, they think that will be enough to win.
President Donald Trump has come to Louisiana trying to fire up voters. He said although he's worked with Edwards, he's not an ally, and Rispone is the man for the job.
You hear people talking, they sound like Republicans, but they're not, because they never vote with us. And they talk good, but they never vote with us, and we need the votes more important than the talk.
But could it be a wash? Mann thinks the president's most recent visit could be.
The president being in a city like that probably energizes black voters and other Democrats as much as it does Republicans. So,
Mann tells me he wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow's elections came down to a couple thousand votes, just like Kentucky's governor race. Of course, we will have full coverage for you tomorrow on our sister station, NBC 10. But for now, for your local election headquarters, I'm Chelsea Jones.
Thanks, Chelsea. In less than 42 hours, the governor's runoff race will be over, and Louisiana could have a new governor or 4 more years with Governor John Bel Edwards, both who spent the day with their last efforts campaigning. Businessman Eddie Rispone was at the Monroe Airport today talking with supporters. He says he's excited for the race to end so he can get to work and turn the state around. Rispone also thanked voters and President Trump as he has invested his time and love into Louisiana. For those who are still undecided on who to vote for, he reminded them of how he will create jobs, improve education, lower taxes, and have many other efforts if elected into office.
It's time to get rid of the liberal, tax and spend career politician who is completely beholden to special interests and hire a conservative outsider, someone who has serious business skills, someone that has created thousands of jobs, and someone who's not beholden to special interests and has the backbone to do for Louisiana what President Trump has done for our country.
Governor John Bel Edwards is campaigning in Baton Rouge, and both businessman Eddie Rispone and Governor John Bel Edwards have encouraged everyone to go vote tomorrow morning, as this race is very close. The polls open at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. Early voters turnout hit a state record for this upcoming election. The Ouachita Parish Registrar's Office says voter turnout has never been this high for early voting, especially for a governor's race. This year, over 500,000 voters throughout the state cast their ballots early. The last time early voter turnout was this high was back in 2016 for the president's race. With the number of early voters being so high ahead of tomorrow's election, the Registrar's Office says it's hard to predict what the actual turnout for voters might look like.
You can have high early voting and then have below average turnout on the actual election day. However, given the amount of attention that this race has received, I certainly think that we will see heavy turnout tomorrow for this race.
Our election coverage will start tomorrow at 8 on our sister station, NBC 10, and on our website at myarklamiss.com. Getting to the polls just got easier. The NAACP has you covered. They've partnered with Uber to offer free rides to the polls on Election Day. The law requires this offer be available for all voters. If you need a ride to the polls tomorrow, we've got details on our website, myarklamiss.com. Earlier this week, the Legislative Auditor's Office added a list of towns and cities that are under fiscal distress. The city of Vidalia was one among almost 20 other cities that made the list, but city officials say this is a mistake. Fox 14's Isabel Albritton spoke with Mayor Buzz Kraft and has more.
We feel like we're the shining star for rural America here in Louisiana.
Vidalia. It's the first city you see when crossing the Mississippi state line into the Pelican State. It's a city of about 4,000 people, and despite having financial problems in the past, Mayor Buzz Kraft says that's no longer the case. But the Louisiana Legislative Auditor's Office says otherwise. The department placed the city under a list of fiscally distressed municipalities.
And when I saw that, it really disturbed me because our town is anything but in financial distress. In fact, we're sitting in a very strong financial position, and we're sitting on a $13 million in deposits and CDs and deposits that are in our local banks.
Mayor Kraft says auditors visited Vidalia about 2 years ago to look at the city's financial situation. In June of 2018, the auditors found a negative balance in one of the funds in the general fund account, which would have put the city on the list. Mayor Kraft says funds were immediately transferred from other accounts to put the city back in good standings.
Since that time, we've done all those corrections that they requested us do. And actually, we have more or less guaranteed the future of our town will be run right no matter who is sitting in this chair. We have policies and procedures in place to operate our town that have been needed for a long time.
Officials say Vidalia is well on its feet and on the right path to being a thriving municipality. In Vidalia, Isabel Albritton, Fox 14 News.
The full list of towns and cities can be found on our website at myarklamiss.com. In news from our nation's capital, today marked the second day of public impeachment hearings in the House. Former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine took center stage. The career diplomat was ousted by the Trump administration back in May after what she calls a smear campaign. D.C.'s Raquel Martin has more.
Ukrainians who prefer to play by the old corrupt rules sought to remove me.
Former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine Marie Yovanovitch says the Trump administration put national security at risk when they sided with corrupt Ukrainian leaders who wanted her out.
I still find it difficult to comprehend that foreign and private interests were able to undermine U.S. interests in this way.
Let me get this straight. You are effective at fighting corruption in the Ukraine. Fighting that corruption was important to the national security of the United States, and you were punished.
Yovanovitch says the administration launched a public smear, documented in the president's July phone call with President Zelensky, now at the center of the impeachment inquiry. The attacks continued during the hearing, with President Trump taking to Twitter, saying everywhere Yovanovitch worked, quote, turned bad.
It's very intimidating.
We take this kind of witness intimidation and obstruction of inquiry very seriously.
While some Republicans condemned the president's tweets, others came to his defense, saying the president has the right to fire any diplomat he'd like.
The president has a right to have their own foreign policy and to make their own decisions.
And Republicans say nothing impeachable happened.
So that is not what went on here.
At the White House, President Trump ripped into the hearings.
In the history of our country, there has never been a disgrace like what's going on right now.
Both public and private impeachment hearings continue next week. In Washington, Raquel Martin.
Longtime Trump ally Roger Stone possibly facing jail time after being convicted of lying to Congress and witness tampering. The verdict coming down today on the second day of jury deliberations. Stone was indicted as part of special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into 2016 Russian election tampering. He was accused of misleading House lawmakers about his efforts to find out when WikiLeaks would be releasing emails hacked from the Democratic Party and Hillary Clinton's campaign. Stone is being released on his own recognizance until sentencing. However, he's still bound by a gag order as a condition of his release. The longtime Republican operative is due back in court for sentencing on February 6th and could face up to 20 years in prison. Well, this year's flu season is getting an early start. That's according to experts at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. They say 30 states are already recording flu activity, and for this time of the year, that's the highest number they've seen in decades. In fact, in California, Louisiana, and Maryland, cases of flu are already widespread. 7 other states are seeing regional cases of the virus. Health officials say it's more important than ever to get your flu shot now. And so far, the vaccine appears to be a good match to fight the active strains that are making people sick. And on a different note, Jared joins us from the Weather Center. Jared, what is it looking like out there?
First off, I did double check, and I think it was up until 2 weeks ago. Louisiana was the first state to hit widespread on the flu report.
Oh, wow.
We're number 1. Nothing that you want to be excited about there.
Yeah, we don't want to brag about that.
Make sure you're taking care of yourself in the meantime, and make sure you keep everything sanitized down. You don't want that spreading. Sunny weekend ahead, but some chilly mornings still ahead of us as well. Forecast next on Fox.
Thanks, Jared. The big opening day of a new attraction coming to El Dorado is a little over a week away. We'll tell you how they're gliding into the holiday.
Communa Health Services. New name, same quality care.
You need more